Hello everyone, it's Isaac here, back with another video. Today's video I will be talking about what I personally think is the best amount of races for each, tier of player on Nitro Type. By that I mean what your goals are for the game, stuff like that. This is purely this is pretty much opinion, so don't make any changes to your race schedule if you don't feel like that's going to be the best decision for you. My word is definitely not the law, so just take this also with a grain of salt, because I'm not exactly big on grinding or doing incredibly lot amount of races. So if you're a grinder, I'm definitely going to have less recommended races than some people who maybe have successfully grinded. But yeah, let's get right into today's video. So first of all, we'll talk about the, I guess I would call beginners / just racing for fun every once in a while. And really, this is the only tier where you probably wouldn't be racing every day. I've definitely done, when I first started Nitro Type, I was very much like this, didn't race every day. Probably around 10-15 races when I did race. But yeah, I do recommend, if you want to get good at Nitro Type, definitely racing daily is probably something you should try to do. Maybe if you just race at school over the weekends, yeah, of course, then I didn't race over the weekends back when I used to only race at school. But yeah, I'd say 15-20 races a day most, maybe 30 pushing it. And then we have the people that are just starting to get serious about the game, or maybe just don't like to race a lot, but still want to race daily to get their account better or their typing skills better. That I'd recommend. That's where 30 to 40 races a day is a pretty good level. Specifically around 30. I did that for a very, very long time. I did pretty well with it. I didn't really get tired. I was able to improve my words per minute by quite a bit. You don't really need to practice a ton to improve your words per minute. You just need to practice consistently. As Nitro Type says, don't race a lot every once in a while. Race a bit every day, or race a lot every day. I guess that can actually be bad for you, though, and it can actually hurt your speed. But yeah, I'd say 30 races a day is pretty much perfect for those who don't want to spend too much time on the game, but just want to get better. Then we start to get to the more serious players, not grinders or anything, but still a little more serious, and that's where I think 50 races a day is a pretty good amount. 50 to 75, 75 is starting to push it a little bit. But yeah, people that are serious about the game but still don't want to be spending a huge amount of time on it, maybe they do enjoy it a bit more than people who just do 30 races a day. And I've actually done this before. Basically, up until this point, I've done all of these. Actually, past this, we'll get there. But another thing, maybe you are pretty serious about the game. Maybe you want to contribute a lot to your team. Maybe you just want to be getting better, more cash, more words per minute, whatever it is you're working for. And that's where I think 75 to 100 is a pretty good target. That's where I am right now. I typically, on school days, I do 60 races a day because I have track practice. But if I don't have track practice, I'll do about 100 races a day. And that's just normal for me. I've gotten used to that. That used to be a lot of races back when the races were longer, but now the races are shorter. 100 races a day isn't that bad. And that's really where I would start thinking about not going too much higher. I don't really have hand problems, or I don't have any sort of conditions from typing that much. It does help a lot too. It gets you a lot of cash. It gets you a better ranking for your team. But yeah, past this starts to get the point where you're spending more than an hour a day on the game. Even if you're a really efficient grinder, anything past 100, you're going to start spending more than an hour a day. I try not to spend too much more than an hour a day on Nitro Type itself. That's where it starts to get a little tiring and boring. Then we have the, I'd call, light to medium grinder. This person is probably going to do around 150 to 200 races a day. And that's a fair bit of racing a day. Some people, especially with, how easy it is to just account share and stuff, that doesn't seem like very much these days anymore. But that's I don't know, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours a day of pure racing. And it's going to be more than that when you throw in that you're probably not going to be doing nothing but racing. When I'm racing, I typically, I'll go to YouTube, I'll switch up videos, because nobody likes to not do anything while they're racing. I typically listen to YouTube videos, and I'll switch when that video gets over. I also don't quit too many races, but I do quit some. So that is something to keep in mind. And then I'd say past this is probably going to be your serious grinder. They're spending multiple hours a day on the game. They're very, very serious about what they do. It's probably for a leaderboard spot, either for themselves or their team. I would say this is around 300 to 400 races a day, 500 max. And that's just what I would generally recommend is what you don't go past. Because that's where you're spending several, actually starting to get more than 2-3 hours a day on the game. I think that's past that, it's just too much. There are people who try to do 800 to 1,000. I don't ever really recommend that. It's really not worth your time. I know it may seem like it is, but it really isn't. I don't ever really recommend doing that. It's just really bad for your health. And that's the point where people start getting tendinitis and what's the other one called? Not arthritis, although you could probably get that too. Yeah, carpal tunnel. Thank you, Sam. My brother's like sitting right over there. People who watch my live streams know that because he helps. But yeah, carpal tunnel's the other big one. So yeah, please don't hurt yourself when you're typing. I'm gonna make a video sometime soon where I like release the math behind, like, you know, for if you did 30 races a day for pretty much almost every day of the year, this is how much cash you would get. This is what you could expect to see. Your words permitted improvement. This could see, you know, how many points for the leaderboard you're getting a year, stuff like that. And also maybe just how quickly you're going to be completing seasons, but that's going to be pretty biased because some seasons are a lot longer than others. Or not biased, I should say, but like that's not going to be a very clear result. So I'll do a video like that in the future. Also, I know I said a while ago that I would be making a really important video and that you need to be looking for that. I'm still planning that one out. I've not forgotten about that. And that will bring some pretty big changes to the channel. None of them are bad, don't worry, I'll still be doing Nitro Type and all that sort of stuff. But there's just going to be some major changes to this channel soon, and I will make a video about that sometime, probably around 250 subscribers, where I talk about those changes. I guess the only thing, there is a Nitro Type cash giveaway. That will be ending probably next week on Friday, if not next week, the following week. Yeah, because, let's see, I'm on spring break this week, like, this coming week I don't have more than a week off. So I've got today, this weekend of course, next week, which like Monday through Friday, and then I've got that weekend, and then I'm back at school. I have 4 weeks of school after that, assuming I don't have to take finals, which I shouldn't have if I keep up my grades, which I should be able to do for 4 weeks. Because my school, it's really nice. My high school makes it to where you don't have to take finals if you have good enough grades and you don't miss that many days of school and you don't get in trouble. You can actually just completely skip taking finals, which I typically do because I'm a good student and I don't get in trouble at school. But that's pretty much it for today's video. So that's just some of the future plans. I hope you got something out of this. If you did, it'd be great if you could like and subscribe. We're starting to approach, I guess, 250 subscribers. We're still a little ways off, but I think we're at about 230, maybe not quite that. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Have a great day. I'll see you all in the next one.